Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming OCS exams happening in November 2024. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for OCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I will be giving an overview into the OCS exam in order to make sure that you understand the technicalities behind your exam. So for most of you, this might be the first CIMA case study, so it's of utmost importance that you get your bearings with, how your knowledge is tested, what type of questions are thrown at you, and what type of answers you are expected to develop. And with regards to conducting your preparations, how to tackle theoretical elements as well as how to improve your application skills, all these things, in order to get them right, you need to know what this OCS exam is all about. So in the first part of today's webinar, I will be providing an overview into your examination. And in the second part, I will be sharing an 8-week study plan with you. As you know, your pre-scene will be released next week. So now itself, if you start your preparations and on a weekly basis, if you keep moving towards the end goal, thereby sticking to our study plan, you can easily pass this OCS examination. Okay, so before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you about the upcoming webinars and workshops we have scheduled for you. As you know, from this week until your exam, there are 8 weeks in total, and focused on each week, we are conducting a free webinar or a free workshop. So the webinar series consists of 4 weekly webinars, and the workshop series consists of 4 weekly webinars. So in the second webinar, which is happening next Friday, which coincides with the pre-scene release, in the second webinar, I will be conducting a pre-scene analysis. And in the second webinar, I will also explain what your industry is all about, because it's of utmost importance that you understand the industry dynamics as well as what happens within your chosen company in order to be successful at your OCS exam. And the most important webinar out of the 4 webinars is the third webinar, answering technique. So in this third webinar, I will teach you how to develop answers. And on top of that, what you need to do to manage your time. And after teaching you these things, answering technique and time management technique, I will take you through a mock exam standard and pre-scene specific mock exam. And whilst taking you through one of the questions, I will explain how to implement these answering and time management techniques, which I'm intending to teach you in the third webinar. So that's the most important webinar, because when attempting each of your mock exams, you need to keep practicing this answering and time management technique in order to get it right at your real exam. And in the fourth webinar, exam prep, I will be taking you through the exam blueprint, thereby highlighting what the examiner tells us, taking you through the examiner's comments, because it's of utmost importance that you understand what the examiner expects from you, and what you need to get right at your exam. And on top of that, I will also mention what you need to do to build a high level of confidence leading up to your examination, and at the same time, what to do when faced with exam stress. Both when conducting your preparations as well as when attempting each of your mock exams. Because if you know how to manage your exam stress, you will never run out of time at your exam. You will never panic at your real examination, because if you panic, you will definitely run out of time. And if you run out of time, chances of you passing the OCS exam is extremely low. So, all these elements will be covered in the fourth webinar, exam prep. And in the workshops, I will be taking you through questions focused on each syllabus area, exam type, and pre-scene specific mock questions focused on each syllabus area, to make sure that you understand how to tackle each syllabus element, how to develop answers when developing answers, how to bring in theoretical knowledge, as well as how to work on your application skills. And on top of that, in these workshops, I will be opening up for a Q&A as well, because by the time you are attending these workshops, you should have attempted 1 or 2 mock exams. So you will definitely have questions. So all these questions will be addressed during the Q&A. So and on top of that, 2 or 3 days before your exam, I will be conducting the final workshop where I will be sharing last minute tips to make sure that you walk into your exam with a positive attitude, because as per the CIMA examiner, if you're confident about your skill set, you are well poised to pass the OCS exam comfortably. So I hope you will get in touch with us on a weekly basis. Make sure to attend the webinars live so that you can raise your questions and concerns, and I'm always there to help you guys out on a weekly basis. So all these webinars and workshops are conducted free of charge, so make use of the free resources which we are offering or sharing with you. So let's try to understand what this exam is all about. So students who are attempting the OCS exam come through two routes. There are a set of students who are coming through the CIMA general route. So these are the type of students who had completed their operational level OTQ exams. So if so, you would have completed your E1, F1, and P1 OTQ exams. So these type of students who are coming through the general route will find the OCS exam to be relatively easy compared to someone who is coming through an exemption route. Why am I saying that? Especially given the fact that you have completed your OTQs, and whilst completing your OTQs, in order to pass your OTQs, you need to gain an in-depth understanding about theoretical concepts covered in E1, F1, and P1 syllabi. So since you have already learned theory, you simply need to improve your application skills when preparing for the OCS exam. However, on the other hand, there are another set of students coming through the exemption route, which is known as FLP, or the Finance Leadership Program. So these type of students, since they have not completed the OTQ exams, surely they will have knowledge gaps, especially concerning the P1 and F1 syllabi, because at this exam, a higher weightage is provided for your P1 and F1 related knowledge, because the E pillar is all about decision making. In a little while, you will know what your role is, what you are expected to play at the exam. So the E pillar is not tested that much, because you are not supposed to be involved with decision making at the OCS exam. However, in the MCS and SCS exams, a high level of prominence will be given to the E pillar or the enterprise pillar, because that has everything to do with decision making. So at this level, you are not expected to be involved with decision making. Instead, you are assisting decision makers. So because of that, your P1 and F1 related knowledge will be tested. And I've dealt with hordes of students coming through the exemption route. They surely have knowledge gaps pertaining to P1 and F1 syllabi. However, if you're coming through an exemption route, you need not worry, because if you stick to our study plan and keep working or keep preparing on a weekly basis, if you get in touch with me on a weekly basis via the free webinars and workshops which we are conducting, and if you watch the master classes which we have developed for you, you can surely pass the OCS exam, just like a student who is coming through the normal route or the general route. So we have tutored students who come through the exemption route and end up passing in the first sitting itself, simply by sticking to our study plan. So in a little while, towards the end of this webinar, you would know what I'm talking about and what you need to do on a weekly basis, thereby adhering to our study plan. Okay, so let's try to get an understanding about what this exam is all about. So this is a PC-based examination. You can attempt the examination at home, or you can attempt the exam at an examination center. If you are experiencing internet issues or power cuts and whatnot, it's recommended to attempt the exam at an examination center rather than at your home, because this is a time pressured examination. The time allocation in its totality is 3 hours. So it's not easy to manage affairs within 3 hours, because within 3 hours, you are supposed to attempt 4 main tasks, which carry a time allocation of 45 minutes per task. As you know, our human brains, the attention span is just for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, there's a tendency for us to feel stressed or feel fatigue. And at the exam, you cannot take a break every 45 minutes. Instead, you have to keep fighting task by task over a period of 3 hours. and you have to adhere to the answering and time management technique, which we will teach in the third webinar. And and on top of that, you will need to take some steps to manage exam stress whenever you feel it at your exam. So doing all these things is not an easy affair. And on top of that, if you experience technical issues, then it will throw you off your exam strategy. However much prepared you are as a student, if you fail, if you face rather technical difficulties at the examination, then it throws you off your exam strategy. So in order to avoid all these issues, it's best that you attempt your exam at an examination center rather than at home, especially if you are experiencing power cuts and internet issues. And the pass mark is 80 marks out of 150 or 54%. This is quite easy to achieve if you stick to the study plan, if you commit yourself and attempt the 6 mock exams which we have developed for you. You can easily gain this pass mark. Actually speaking, those who stick to our study plan and attempt all mocks as per the study plan end up getting more than 100 marks when the pass mark is just 80. Okay, so let me quickly show you what type of questions, so how your knowledge is tested at the OCS exam. As I mentioned, the exam is, I'm taking you through one of the mock exams which we developed for the previous OCS sitting. And as I mentioned earlier, the examination consists of 4 main tasks, and the time allocation is 45 minutes. And in each task, you will see 2 or 3 subtasks. So and some weightages have, you can see some weightages. These weightages indicate how much marks are allocated for each subtask. So when developing answers, you have to be extremely conversant with mark allocations, because when developing your answers, it's best that you align your answers with mark allocations to make sure that you come up with high quality answers which are totally aligned with the marks allocated for each subtask. All these things you will understand after attending the third webinar. So this is how your questions will be thrown at you. It's as if you are receiving an email from your finance manager or some other manager within the organization. It could be a director within the organization as well. Someone from the senior management team is sharing an email with you or hands you a document. So that's how this examination is structured. So the examination is extremely practical. The examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So in a real life corporate environment, it's as if you walk into office, open your laptop, you receive and you open up the email. Your boss had said something, mentioned something within the scenario, which highlights a certain issue the company is facing, or something which some type of an opportunity the company is trying to exploit, or your finance manager or some other manager might be asking your guidance with regards to a certain a step the company is going to take. So you have to consider the information presented in the scenario, then address the concerns raised by your boss. So just like what you'd do at office, you are supposed to develop answers at your real examination. So as you can see, there are subtasks with weightages. There are 3 subtasks in total within the first requirement or the first section, which carries a time allocation of 45 minutes. And under each question or task, you will get access to reference material, which gives you additional information about something which is highlighted within the scenario. So as you can see, in order to develop the answer for the first subtask, you are supposed to refer to the reference material. So at office, you will receive an email with an attachment. That's exactly what this is all about. So this is the reference material will consist of information, additional information as an attachment. So just like in your office, in order to develop your answers, you have to definitely go through the reference material. If not, you will not come up with high quality answers. So always make sure to check reference material, because each task will carry 1 or 2 reference material. So that's the exact same thing you can see in section number 2 as well. Again, you are receiving an email from your finance manager, and the questions are about budgeting and forecasting in a certain country. And there are 3 different subtasks again, and you are supposed to refer to the information presented in the reference material when developing your answers. So likewise, throughout this paper, you can see the same type of methodology being adhered to when testing your knowledge. So that's what this exam is all about. So let's try to understand what your role is. You are playing the role, you are supposed to play the role of a finance officer. So in order to really understand what you are expected to achieve at the exam, you need to know where you are located within your chosen organization. So as you know, any given organization can be divided into 3 main parts. At the very top, you get the strategic level. That's where the board members are, or the senior management team is. What's their responsibility? The responsibility of board members is to take long-term decisions. Think about, what's going to happen in the company for more than one accounting year. So strategic decision making, that's the main objective of the board members who are at the strategic level. When carrying out their jobs, they need to adopt something called an outside-in approach. So rather than solely thinking about the internal dynamics of your chosen company, the board members should always think about what the industry is, or how the industry is going to react to their decisions. So they need to think about all main stakeholders, how they are going to react to a certain decision arrived at by them, and they have to always be conversant about how their decisions are going to impact or change the internal dynamics as well. So that's these are the responsibilities of the individuals at the top or the strategic level. And in the second level, you get middle level management. Middle level management's main responsibility is to create a link between the long-term decision makers or the board members with the low-level employees, or those who carry out the decisions or implement the decisions on a daily basis. So they are the link between the board members and operational level employees. So the middle level management have to be conversant with how to provide leadership, how to measure performance, how to carry out communication, how to manage conflicts within the organization. So all in all, they are playing a leadership role as middle level management. And at the very at the very beginning of the organization, or at the lowest level of the organization, you get operational level employees. So these operational level employees are involved with implementing the decisions taken by board members on a daily basis. So you are located at the operational level of the organization, or the lowest level of the organization. So as a finance officer, you are dealing with daily activities of the company. So as I mentioned earlier, decision making is a responsibility of board members as well as middle level management. You have nothing to do with decision making. You are supposed to assist decision makers. Sometimes your finance manager will ask your opinion about something. That's the only time you are supposed to be involved with short-term decision making. Other than that, you are not supposed to recommend anything, because that's not your job. Instead, whenever your managers are asking you to do something or asking for your opinion, you are supposed to address their concerns or provide your opinion. So that's exactly why I said this exam is P1 and F1 heavy. You have to know all the tools and techniques used under management accountancy, and the IASs and the IFRSs, which are covered under the F1 syllabus. So you are playing the role of a finance officer. So as a finance officer, you need to have a moderate level of application and practical thinking at this level. So you need to really know your theories, because theories are heavily tested at the lowest level of the organization. Since you are not involved with decision making, your role is to, as I mentioned earlier, assist decision makers. So when assisting decision makers, you have to use your theoretical knowledge which you have gained by going through E1, F1 and P1 syllabi. Okay, so theory is heavily tested. This is a theory heavy exam. 85% of your questions will be based on highly will be based on theoretical concepts, and practical decision making is extremely limited. You'd only see 10% of the questions which will test your decision making skills. Even if these questions are testing your decision making skills, your short-term decision making skills are tested. You need not think about the company's strategy or how your decisions are going to impact the internal dynamics of the company or its external dynamics. So that's what your role is all about. Then let's try to gain a better understanding about what your how your exam is structured and how your knowledge is tested. A short while back, I took you through one of the mock exams. I hope you understood how your knowledge is tested. So let's try to gain a better understanding about, get to the root and see, what you need to get right when conducting your preparations. So in this case study examination, information is provided about a fictitious company through something called a pre-seen document. So you will get your hands on something like this. Yeah. So this is a pre-seen which was made available for the previous two case study sessions, which were conducted in May and August 2024. So as you can see, this gives you an introduction into your company. Your pre-seen starts with, the examiner providing an introduction into your chosen company. And then, the examiner gives you an indication about the industry, because you need to have some type of an understanding about what type of an industry this company is located in. So that's exactly what you can see here. And on top of that, the examiner gives you information about the history of the company, what type of products or services it is offering and whatnot, as a general introduction. Then the examiner shares information about the type of directors or key managers within your chosen organization, and a snapshot of how the organization's different departments are structured is provided. And on top of that, the examiner gives you an in-depth set of information about what happens within each and every department of your chosen organization. Because as a finance officer, since you're dealing with daily running of the business, you need not really think about the industry. You need to have a general understanding about your industry, but you need to really have a good understanding about what happens within your chosen organization's departments. So that's exactly what you can see here. Sales, what happens with regards to sales, what happens with regards to production, then what happens with regards to distribution, purchasing and supplier relationships, and what type of warehouse operations are occurring, what type of employees are there, and what happens within your own department, which is the finance department. And at the very end, financial statements of your chosen company is provided. So the SOPL, or the statement of profit and loss, the SOFP, the statement of financial position or the balance sheet, then the statement of cash flows, followed by the budget for the next year, which sets out sales plans, as well as which gives us an indication about cost behavior. Okay, talking about overheads and whatnot. And an example of a standard cost card will be provided so that you gain an understanding about absorption basis. And on top of that, at the very end, information will be provided about the tax regime in your chosen country. So that's how your examination is, your pre-seen document rather, is structured. So by going through this pre-seen document, you are expected to gain an understanding about your chosen company, especially its internal dynamics. So at the exam, you are required to address issues or questions relating to the operations of the company based on a knowledge of the company. So that's why you need to go through the pre-seen document and be conversant with, especially be conversant with what happens within your organization, what appears within the financial statements. And on top of that, when developing answers, you are supposed to utilize the knowledge which you have gained via your E1, P1, and F1 syllabi. So since this examination is theory heavy, if you skip any topics, chances of you passing the OCS exam is extremely low. So you are not expected to skip any theoretical element, any theoretical concept. I've dealt with students who think that, okay, I'm not too conversant with linear programming, because of that I'm gonna forget about it. But at the exam, if you get a linear programming related question, which usually carries a weightage of 50 to 60%, you will never pass the OCS exam. So you are not expected to skip any topics. Instead, you have to be conversant with the entire syllabus, especially given the fact that this examination is theory heavy. So let me quickly tell you what I'm talking about. So for instance, yeah, this subtask, let's look at the second subtask. The figures shown in the payoff table, you are supposed to explain the figures shown in the payoff table and how the maximax, maximin, and minimax regret decision criteria would be used to select the number of robot assembly machines to be deployed. Please also state the number of machines to be fitted within our assembly department. So in order to provide an answer to this question, you need to be conversant with what payoff tables are, and based on the information presented in payoff tables, how maximax, maximin, and minimax regret related decision makers will arrive at their decision. So if you are not conversant with short-term decision making, if you are not conversant with risk attitudes, if you do not know how to read a payoff table, you cannot gain the marks allocated for this subtask. And the second subtask is actually aligned with the first one. You are also supposed to explain the pros and cons of using expected values for this decision and how we can determine the value of perfect information. So if you're clueless about what expected values are, and if you're clueless about how to arrive at the value of perfect information, you won't get the marks which are allocated for this subtask. So likewise, throughout this paper, you can see all the questions are testing your theoretical knowledge. This question is about leasing, which tests your understanding about IFRS 16 leases. Then there's a question about activity-based costing, and another question about how to implement activity-based costing. And this question is about seasonal variations and limitations of using seasonal variation, and rolling budgets versus current budgeting system. And looking at the first question, first task rather, the first subtask is about variance analysis, how to calculate each variance and whatnot, and differences between planning and operational variances. Then big data, how we can use it for sales forecasting and planning. So throughout these subtasks, I took you through almost all the subtasks. In all these subtasks, different theoretical elements are tested. So if you are not conversant with your theories, you cannot pass this exam. However, we have developed 6 mock exams, and for each of these mock exams, we have developed master classes. So if you attempt the mock exams and watch the master classes, you will learn theory and improve your application skills in an extremely short period of time. Okay, so that's an overview of the exam. Let's try to understand what you need to get right when conducting your preparations in the upcoming 8 weeks. So first things first, once the pre-scene is released, which is next Friday, you are supposed to read the annotated pre-scene. So you will, as I mentioned earlier, you will get something like this without the annotations. You will get something like this as your pre-scene document. However, we have, in order to make your life easy, we have come up with tutor annotations. So these tutor annotations is a good summary which makes your life easy when it comes to understanding the information presented in the pre-scene document, because the pre-scene document usually goes on for 25 to 30 pages. It consists of so much of information, and students struggle to understand which of the information is actually relevant for your role and which of the information can be ignored when conducting preparations. So in order to make sure that you understand the most important points, and in order to make sure that you have a good summary at your disposal covering the entire pre-scene document, we have come up with tutor annotations. And on top of that, we have also highlighted probable areas which can be tested based on hints provided by the CIMA examiner. And we have also highlighted probable theoretical elements which can be tested based on the information presented in the pre-seen document. So that's exactly what you can see in here. As you can see, with regards to production operations, there's a long list of information. However, if you simply refer to this part, you will gain an in-depth understanding about what happens within your production department. So likewise, throughout this pre-seen document, that's exactly what you can see here. There's a summary about the relevant information. We have provided a general analysis as well whenever necessary. And we have also highlighted probable areas which can be tested. And based on these, hints, or based on these suggestions, we have developed the 6 mock exams. Okay. So you have to read the annotated pre-seen, then watch 4 pre-seen analysis videos. So your pre-seen is divided into 4 main elements. In the first part, the examiner gives you an introduction into your industry as well as what has happened within your chosen company in the past. And in the second part, the examiner gives you a glimpse into the company's operations, thereby highlighting what happens within different departments of your chosen organization. In the third part, the examiner gives you an indication about the budgets and what the company strives to achieve in the future. And in the fourth and final part, the financial statements are provided. So focused on these 4 elements, we have developed 4 different pre-seen analysis videos. And once you watch these pre-seen analysis videos, you will gain an in-depth understanding about what happens within your chosen company and what is stipulated within its budgets as well as its financial statements. So after gaining an understanding about your pre-seen, then you have to commence your preparations, thereby focusing your attention towards practicing mock exams. So we have developed 6 mock exams in total, of which 1 will be provided free of charge. The remaining, in order to gain access to the remaining 5 mock exams, you will have to invest on paid packages. So you are across these 8 weeks, you are supposed to attempt 6 mock exams, which are exam standard and pre-seen specific, in order to make sure that you, when conducting your preparations, you cover the entire syllabus. In order to make sure that you are conversant with how each syllabus area is tested at the OCS exam. Because just because you know a certain theoretical concept, for instance, let's assume that you know what activity-based costing is. However, if you do not know how to consider the information presented in your scenario at your examination, and on top of that, considering this information, if you do not know how to develop answers, or in other terms, if you do not know how to work on your application skills, if you are clueless about how to apply your theoretical knowledge about ABC, activity-based costing, when developing the answer, which is aligned with the information presented in the scenario, you cannot pass the exam. Just by providing highly theoretical answers, you won't pass, because as I mentioned earlier, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. In a real-life corporate environment, when your boss is asking about activity-based costing, considering a certain situation faced by the company at present, if you try to explain activity-based costing from top to bottom, thereby providing a highly theoretical answer, rather than making sure that you consider the information which your boss has shared with you when developing your response, your boss will be pissed. So likewise, at your real exam, you have to make sure that you need to know your theories, but if you provide highly theoretical answers, you won't pass. Instead, you have to also work on your application skills. So that's exactly why you need to attempt the 6 mock exams, because if you are to cover the entire syllabus, you cannot do it by attempting just 1 or 2 mock exams. I've dealt with students who think that they can pass this exam by attempting just 1 or 2 mocks. You are grave if you're thinking so, you are gravely mistaken. Instead, what you need to do is you have to be conversant with how each syllabus area is tested at your exam, thereby attempting our 6 mock exams. And you are supposed to attend the live webinars and workshops to keep in touch with me on a weekly basis, keep tabs, which helps you keep tabs about your preparations. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can raise them at these webinars and workshops. And on top of that, I will be sharing a plethora of tips with you to make sure that you pass in your first sitting itself. Then you are supposed to refer to a set of slides, industry analysis, financial analysis, top 10 issues, and theory recaps pertaining to E1, F1, and P1. So after attempting a mock exam, if you feel that you lack an understanding about a certain theoretical concept, simply refer to the theory recaps or the theory recap slides which we have developed for you, so that you can, within a short period of time, brush up your knowledge concerning a certain theoretical concept. So talking about the industry analysis and financial analysis slides, let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. So the financial, as you saw a while back, at the very end of your pre-seen document, the financial statements are provided. So we have evaluated the financial statements, and we have made sure to keep these annotations simple so that you can easily understand what's depicted within each financial statement. And at the very end, we have conducted a ratio analysis. Again, each ratio we have explained in depth, yet keeping things simple so that you can easily gain an in-depth understanding about the financial standing of your chosen company. And we have also developed a set of industry analysis slides, which consist of 4 main elements. In the first part, we provide an overview into your chosen industry. Then in the second part, we provide a snapshot of the competitive landscape. And in the third part, we highlight industry trends. Mind you, based on these industry trends, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. And at the very end, we have explained what happens within 2 real-life companies so that you gain a better understanding about what happens within your chosen industry. So these are the industry and financial analysis slides. So you need to be conversant with what appears within your financial statements and what happens within your industry. Then you will also gain access to what you are supposed to watch 20 pre-recorded master classes. So out of the 6 mock exams, I said the first mock exam is a free mock exam. And in each of the workshops, I will be taking you through questions pertaining to this free mock exam. So because of that, you are not, we have not conducted, or we have not developed master classes for the free mock exam because I'm covering the master classes in the workshops. Instead, from mocks 2 to 6 across the paid 5 paid mock exams, we have developed master classes, 20 in total. So in each mock exam, there are 4 tasks. 4 tasks into 5 mocks come up to 20 tasks in total. So focused on each section or requirement or each task, we have developed a masterclass. And the objective of developing a masterclass is to ensure that you learn the logic behind the answer, you learn how to structure the answer, and on top of that, you gain an in-depth understanding about the theoretical concept covered within each question. And at the same time, you gain an understanding about how to work on your application skills. So if you are coming through an exemption route, I said that you will definitely have knowledge gaps. You need not worry because we have developed the master classes focused solely on you guys. So if you are coming through an exemption route, by watching the master classes, you will easily understand the logic behind each answer, the theoretical elements covered behind each answer, and at the same time, significantly improve your application skills. And so you'd understand, you'd learn OTQ theory coverage and application by watching these master classes. And after attempting each mock exam, you are supposed to refer to the answer plans of each and every mock exam. For the 6 mocks, we have developed 6 answer plans. No other study provider is providing this service. So if you had done the OCS exam previously, you know what I'm talking about. You will gain access to a set of mock exams and its suggested answer. However, we have gone a step further, and we have developed answer structures or answer summaries concerning each and every mock exam. So once you gain access to these answer summaries or the answer plans, you are in a position to easily understand the logic of each answer. You will gain an in-depth understanding about how to structure your answers. And at the same time, you are in a position to easily understand how to work on your application skills, because by looking at this, you will know how to decrypt theory knowledge and at the same time work on your application skills. So once you have access to this, after attempting each mock exam, you are supposed to go through this answer plan and redevelop answer plans on your own with the intention of improving the way in which you structure your answers. Because if you get your answer plans right, you will definitely pass this OCS exam. So you have to refer to these answer plans. And also we are providing personalized tutor feedback for the last 3 mock exams. And this is the best way to gain an in-depth understanding about your shortcomings and to understand how to overcome your shortcomings. Because as you can see, we have provided in-depth tutor feedback focused on each and every point highlighted within this answer script. So sometimes when the student had only typed 50 words, my feedback goes on for something like 75 words sometimes. Although you guys are allocated with 3 hours to attempt the entire mock exam, when it comes to marking, I spend about 2.5 hours because I try to get to the root of problems to make sure that you gain a good understanding about what your shortcomings are. Because without understanding your shortcomings, you will never know how to overcome your shortcomings. So throughout this answer script, you can see on a paragraph by paragraph basis, I've provided tutor feedback. And at the very end, mark allocations are provided on a subtask by subtask basis. We have indicated a success rate as well. So by looking at the success rate, a student has the capability of easily understanding the subtasks in which the performance was substandard. So this individual had failed this mock exam by gaining just 70 marks. And after receiving tutor feedback, your role should be to redevelop answer plans. You will understand what I'm talking about once you have once you have attended the 3rd webinar. So after receiving tutor feedback, your job is to redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. So you are not wasting time. Instead, with the intention of improving the structure and the quality of your answers, you are solely focusing on the subtasks where you have not done a good job. So by adhering to this methodology, you will see by the time you are done with all 6 mock exams, you will see a significant improvement in your knowledge, a significant improvement in your application skills, and a significant improvement in the way in which you structure your answers. And if so, you will gain more than 100 marks at your real exam when your pass mark is just 80. So these are the things which you need to get done in the upcoming 8 weeks. You might think that there's a lot on your plate, but you need not worry. We have developed an 8-week study plan to make sure that you can get all these things done in a stress-free environment. So let me quickly tell you before we move on to the second part, which in which I'm going to explain the 8-week study plan. Let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the OCS page, and the content is not up yet because the content, the pre-scene will be released next Friday. So from Friday onwards, you will gain access to free content. So click on this button to create a free user account. And via the free user account, you will gain access to the recorded versions of all webinars, weekly webinars and workshops which we conduct. And on top of that, you will gain access to the free mock exam, its suggested answer, and the answer plan. And you have the opportunity of attempting the free mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform, which is akin to the Pearson VUE system, which you are expected to use at your real exam. So after attending the 3rd webinar, answering technique, you will know how to structure your answers. You will know what you need to do when it comes to managing time. So put your knowledge into practice by attempting the free mock under exam conditions via our exam platform. Then you will realize what your shortcomings are, because without understanding your shortcomings, you cannot ever work towards overcoming your shortcomings. So click on this button and create a free user account. Content will be up from next Friday. And if you're interested in investing on paid content, click on this button and to gain an understanding about the type of material which we provide by going through the sample material. And if you're yet to join the OCS WhatsApp group, click on this button and join it. And via the OCS WhatsApp group, I'm always there to help you guys out. If you have any questions, you can raise them there. And on top of that, you can engage with group learning as well. So let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. We offer two main packages, the value pack and the premium pack. The value pack is designed for students who are coming through the CIMA general route. So these are the type of students who had completed their OTQs. So since you have already learned theory, you simply need to work on your answer structuring and application skills. So focused on these type of students who are already conversant with theoretical elements, we have developed the value pack. So the value pack comes with the recordings of all webinars and workshops. The value pack consists of 6 mock exams with suggested answers. You will also gain access to 4 pre-scene analysis videos, the annotated pre-scene, industry and financial analysis slides. A short while back, I explained what these documents are. You will also gain access to top 10 likely issue slides, which indicate the most probable syllabus elements which can be tested at your real examination. You will also gain access to a case study familiarization kit. So within 10 minutes, if you go through this familiarization kit, within 10 minutes, you will gain an in-depth understanding about how your exam is structured, as well as the technicalities behind your exam. And you will also gain access to a tutor managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So as I mentioned earlier, the value pack is designed for those who had completed their OTQs. So after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you cannot remember a certain theoretical concept, or if you feel that you need to brush up your knowledge concerning a certain concept, simply refer to the OTQ revision cards to brush up your knowledge. Okay, so that's the value pack, and it is priced at £199. And talking about the premium package, this is designed for students who are coming through the exemption route, as well as those who had failed the OCS exam previously, because both these sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theory knowledge as well as issues with application skills. So with the intention of teaching you theory and making sure that you significantly improve your application skills, we have included additional material on top of the value pack. So you will gain access to all material covered under the value pack. Additionally, you will gain access to the online mock exam platform. So just like in your real exam, you have the capability of attempting all 6 mock exams under exam conditions, which is the best way to be exposed to exam stress, because it's best that you are exposed to exam stress when conducting your preparations rather than at your real exam. Because if you are exposed to these issues right now, you will know what to do to overcome them. If so, you will be extremely successful at your real examination. And on top of that, you are supposed to get your answering and time management techniques right. And the best way to get them right is to attempt each mock exam under exam conditions, just like your real exam. So you will gain access to the online mock exam platform where you can attempt all 6 mocks under exam conditions. You will also receive one-on-one tutor feedback on 3 mocks, the last 3 mock exams. You saw the type of feedback which we provide at TCS. You will also gain access to the answer plans of all mock exams, which makes your life easy to significantly improve the quality of your answers, significantly improve the structure of your answers, because after going through the answer plans, you'll know how to structure answers. And you will also gain access to 20 master classes, where we are teaching you theory and application skills at the same time, taking you through the logic behind each and every answer. And once you have access to all this material, you will pass for sure. That's why we are providing a pass guarantee for the premium package. So if you invest on the premium package, yet if you end up failing, you will gain access to the same content in your subsequent sitting free of charge. You will gain access to the premium content in your subsequent sitting free of charge. However, in order to claim the pass guarantee, if you fail, in order to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete these 3 requirements. You have to, first things first, complete all mock exams. You cannot claim the pass guarantee simply by attempting 2 or 3 mock exams, because as I mentioned earlier, you do not stand a chance of understanding how each syllabus area is tested at your exam if you attempt just 2 or 3 mocks. If you are to cover the entire syllabus, you have to attempt all 6 mock exams. And your solutions need to be original as well, because when before attempting each mock exam, you are not expected to go through the master classes or refer to the answer plans or refer to the suggested answers. Instead, you have to be honest with yourself, truthful to yourself. You need to make sure that you give your best shot when attempting each mock exam, because if you attempt each mock exam without referring to any of the answers, then you stand a chance to understand your shortcomings. Because as I've mentioned on multiple occasions within this webinar itself, if you understand your shortcomings, you can take steps to avoid them. If so, you would be successful at your real exam. And you have to meet the performance criteria for the last 3 mock exams. You need to score 40% or higher. Why have we come up with this performance criteria? To make sure that you do a serious job when attempting the last 3 mocks, especially given the fact that you are receiving tutor feedback for the last 3 mock exams. Okay, and once you have covered all these elements, there's absolutely no way you'd fail the OCS exam, hence the pass guarantee. So the premium package is priced at £699, which can be paid in 2 installments of £349 each. Or if you opt to pay in full, you stand a chance to, you actually can save £100. Therefore, the price of the package will be just £599. So you can click on either of these buttons and invest on your preferred package. And you can also gain access to the OCS study plan within the same web page itself. Okay, so that's what we offer at TCS. So important dates are exam entry closes on the 22nd of October, which is a Tuesday. So if you are interested in, or if you're planning to sit for your OCS exam in November, you have to book your exam before the 22nd of October. There's no way you can book your exam after this deadline. If you're actually planning to sit in November, it's best that you book your exam right now to avoid disappointments, because sometimes when you wait until the last moment, you will get your exam window at odd times, early in the morning, or towards or towards after midnight or whatnot. So it's best that you book your exam right now, because if you book your exam right now, you will commit to the study plan. If not, if you wait until the exam entry deadline, you will always think about, okay, I don't have enough time to conduct preparation. So because of that, you will think about attempting your OCS exam in February next year. So don't push your exam towards February. Commit yourself right now. Book the exam as soon as possible, so that you can attempt the exam in a comfortable time slot. And the exam dates are from the 6th to the 8th of November 2024. So let's move on to the 8-week study plan. So you can easily access the 8-week study plan via our website itself. So in week number 1, which is this week, you are supposed to attend the first webinar, study technique. You have done already completed this, so congratulations. Then within this week, since the pre-scene is not yet out, you are supposed to refer to the OTQ theory recaps, go through these OTQ theory revision cards to revise your knowledge about, or brush up your knowledge about theoretical concepts before you start your preparations focused on the pre-scene and the mock exams, and refer to the OCS familiarization kit. So you have you don't have too much on your plate within this week. It's simply a matter of going through or revising your theoretical knowledge. And in week number 2, you are expected to primarily focus your attention towards what appears within your pre-scene document. So you are supposed to attend the second webinar, pre-scene analysis, which is happening on Friday at 17 GMT or 6 PM UK time. So on Friday, you will get your hands on the pre-scene. On the same day itself, we are conducting the pre-scene analysis. And after attending the webinar, you will know how to use the pre-scene document. And after gaining an understanding about how to use the pre-scene, you are supposed to watch the 4 pre-scene analysis videos. Then you'd gain an in-depth understanding about what appears within your pre-scene. Then you are supposed to refer to the annotated pre-scene on your own, and refer to industry and financial analysis slides to gain an understanding about what appears within your financial statements, as well as what happens within your industry. So once you are conversant with the pre-scene information, you have to start attempting mock exams. So week number 3 is going to be a bit busy, because you are supposed to attempt 2 mock exams within this week. So first things first, before you start attempting mocks, you are supposed to attend the third webinar answering technique to learn how to structure your answers and how to manage your time. And after attending this webinar, you are supposed to attempt the free mock exam via the exam platform. Take it from me. After you attempt the free mock exam, after you try to implement the answering and time management techniques which you have learned, you will understand that you run out of time. You will understand that you are not too conversant with how to structure answers, because as per our answering technique, you are supposed to develop something called an answer plan within 20 minutes. But when you try to do it for the first time, you'll definitely run out of time, because it will take something like 40 to 45 minutes to structure the answer itself. So you need practice. Without practicing, you can't get answering and time management techniques right. So by attempting the free mock exam, you will for sure understand what your shortcomings are. And that is the best motivation to make sure that you pull your socks when it comes to conducting your preparation. So after attempting the free mock exam, attempt mock number 1 via the exam platform within the same week. And in order to learn theory and improve application skills, watch the 4 master classes. And after you have learned your theory and application, after you know how to structure the answers, redevelop answer plans on your own, focused on the first mock exam. And moving on to the next week, you are supposed to attend the 4th webinar, then attempt mock number 2. After attempting the second mock exam, you are supposed to watch the 4 master classes to learn theory and improve application skills, and put your knowledge into practice by redeveloping answer plans. And in week number 5, you are supposed to attend the Q&A workshop, then attempt mock 3, watch the 4 master classes to learn theory and improve application, and test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans. And from mock 3 onwards, you will receive personalized tutor feedback. So refer to personalized tutor feedback for mock number 3 to gain an understanding about what your shortcomings are. Okay, so likewise, in week number 6, focus your attention towards mock number 4. And in week number 7, focus your attention towards the last mock exam. And a week before your exam, you are supposed to start relaxing. So 99% of the students out there, they wait until the last week or the last 2 weeks to start their preparations. And within 1 or 2 weeks, you cannot attempt 3 mock exams. Because of that, most students end up attempting just 2 or 3 mocks. If that is the case, you are testing your luck at your real exam. So most students, since they wait until the last moment, since they are running out of time, they do not have time to focus their attention towards redeveloping answer plans, focus their attention towards conducting their revision, improving their knowledge levels, improving answering technique, improving time management skills. All these things cannot be done within just 1 or 2 weeks. So when all other students are scrambling for time, when all the other students are exposed to extreme levels of stress, and when they're struggling with preparations, you are relaxing a week before the exam if you stick to our study plan. So a week before the exam, you are simply supposed to attend the final workshop, where I'll be sharing last minute tips with you. Then refer to the answer plans of all 6 mock exams. This is the best type of revision you have to be involved with, because if you go through these answer plans, you are reminding yourselves how to structure your answers. You are going through all theoretical elements, because across the 6 mock exams, we have covered the entire OCS syllabus. So you are revising theory once more, covering the entire syllabus. And on top of that, you are reminding yourself what to get right with regards to application. So when all other students are trying to attempt mock exams and whatnot, you are simply conducting revision based on the answer plans, and reread the annotated pre-scene one last time. And you are supposed to stop preparations a day prior to the exam, sleep, eat, and rest well. So if your exam is on the 7th of November, you have to stop all your preparations by the 5th of November. You might think that I'm stupid for you guys to ask you guys to stop preparations a day before the exam. It's best that you are well rested. I'm not the person who is saying this. It's the CIMA examiner who is actually recommending you to stop all work a day before your exam. Why is this the case? Because as I mentioned earlier, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So it's as if you are walking into office on a Monday. So if you are to be successful, if you're at office, or if you are to carry out your responsibilities in the most efficient manner, you have to be well rested. Let's assume you were partying on Sunday. You were up till late on Sunday. If so, can you function properly on a Monday? You can't. You can't do your job properly. So at this exam, at office, when it comes to responding to emails, you can take breaks every 45 minutes. As I mentioned, if you consider the human brain, the attention span is just for 45 minutes. So every 45 minutes, whenever you feel fatigue, you can drink some water, go talk to your colleagues. Some might opt to, smoke. Yeah, some might have a snack or a coffee. But at the exam, you can't do it. You have to sit in one place for 3 hours at a stretch and be exposed to extreme levels of stress. This leads to fatigue. And when you are exposed to fatigue, sometimes human beings panic. And when you panic, you'd experience something called brain freeze. I will talk about how to manage all these things in the fourth webinar. So if you are not rested enough, and at the exam, when you are exposed to extreme levels of stress, when you are exposed to fatigue, when you are experiencing brain freeze, you will regret the fact that you waited until the last moment to conduct your preparations. So in order to avoid such a situation, if your exam is on the 7th, stop all work by the 5th. On the 6th, rest well and walk into the exam with an open mind. I will also share all these things in the last workshop as well, how to get these things right. So when all other students are under extreme levels of stress when walking into the exam, you will stand out because you will be the most relaxed person out there. And if you are relaxed, you are well poised to do your job as a finance officer in the most successful manner. You will manage stress at your exam in the most successful manner because your brain is rested. You have rested throughout the week, both physically and mentally. So stick to the study plan. As you can see, according to the study plan, you are supposed to attempt a mock exam per week. And after attempting each mock exam, you are supposed to go through the master classes. That's where you'd learn your theory and application. And after learning theory and application, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans. That's where you are putting your knowledge into practice. And then you'd also receive tutor feedback. So it's as if you stick to the study plan, it's as if you are going through or attempting the same mock exams 4 times over, or going through a certain mock exam 4 times over. And a week before the exam, again, you are going through the answers of each and every mock exam. So if you stick to the study plan, it's as if you are going through each mock exam 5 times over. That's enough and more practice for you to get things right at your real exam. And as you can see, the weekly study hours range between 9 to 12 hours. Only in week number 3, you have to allocate 12 hours of your time when it comes to conducting preparations. Why? Because you have to focus on attempting 2 mock exams, which will take 6 hours of your time. However, from that point onwards, you are simply supposed to allocate 9 hours of study time per week. I do not want you guys to study throughout the week. Instead, leave out Mondays because usually Mondays are hectic. Let's assume you attempt a mock exam. Let's assume you are in week number 4, or let's think in terms of tutor feedback as well. So let's assume you are in week number 6. So on Tuesday, attempt the mock exam. On Wednesday, watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application. On Thursday, redevelop answer plans. And by Friday, you will receive tutor feedback. And once you have received tutor feedback, you'd understand what your shortcomings are. So I'm not asking you to work throughout the week. Instead, your preparations will span across Tuesday to Friday. Your main responsibility is to attempt the mock exam. After that, everything else is handled by us. And towards the weekend, take a break, spend time with your loved ones, spend time with your family, and you do your weekly chores at home, because I do not want you to be stressed towards the weekend. Instead, simply work on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And your real responsibility is to attempt the weekly mock exam, which is going to take 3 hours of your time. For instance, if you're attempting the mock on Tuesday, you need to find 3 hours at a stretch and attempt the mock exam under exam conditions whilst practicing answering and time management techniques. And on Wednesday, it's just a matter of watching a set of videos in your leisure. And on Thursday, it's just a matter of redeveloping answer plans, which is only going to take 1.5 hours of your time. And on Friday, it's simply a matter of going through the tutor feedback, which we provide, which we have, which we will share with you. So your real job is to attempt the mock, which takes 3 hours of your time, and redevelop answer plans, which takes 1.5 hours of your time. Everything else is handled by us. So you can conduct all your preparations in a stress-free environment if you stick to the study plan. If so, you just need to allocate something like 9 hours per week for your studies. So that's our study plan. I hope you will stick to it. I hope you gain an in-depth understanding about how to get things right at your exam or when conducting your preparations. And if you stick to our study plan, you will complete all these tasks which appear within the to-do list. Okay. All right. So those who stuck to our study plan were successful at the OCS exam. That's why we achieved a 96% pass rate for the OCS exams held in May 2024. And as I mentioned, those who stick to our study plan gain more than 100 marks when the pass mark is just 80. That's exactly what Alvin achieved last May. This individual gained 101 marks when the pass mark was just 80. And this individual was a student who came through an exemption route. He was struggling in when attempting the free mock exam and mock number 1. However, after going through the master classes, after learning theory, after working on answering technique, after redeveloping answer plans, after attempting each and every mock exam, this student significantly improved the skill set. And by the time I was providing tutor feedback for the last mock exam, this individual scored something like 98 marks, if I'm not mistaken. And at the real exam, he gained 101 marks. Okay, so you can achieve a similar feat if you are serious enough. And if you commit yourself, you need not do too much. On a weekly basis, attempt the mock and redevelop answer plans. Everything else is handled by us. All right. So I've been talking for the last hour. So if you have any questions, you can raise them now. I'm going to pause the recording. All right. So thank you very much, folks, for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. And if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Simply go to our website and click on the contact button and drop your message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email. And if you want to email us, you can do so via info@study@tcs.com or WhatsApp us on this number. And I urge you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because the recorded versions of these webinars and workshops will be uploaded to our YouTube handle. And on top of that, via the TikTok handle, you will gain access to 3 TikTok videos, which gives you a good summary of the entire pre-scene. So once you have access to these 3 mind maps, these 3 TikTok videos, if you keep watching them on a continuous basis until your examination day, you need not do anything else to remember what appears within your pre-scene document. We have done it for you. So make use of these free resources. Follow us on our social media handles to make sure that you stand a chance of passing the OCS exam comfortably. So the concluding thought is to approach OCS as an opportunity to learn rather than an exam to pass. Why am I saying this? Because the CIMA exam is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment. So think in a practical manner. Think that you are actually playing the role of the finance officer in the upcoming 8 weeks. If so, you'll get everything right at your real examination. So thank you very much for joining, folks. I will see you on Friday with the pre-scene analysis at 6 p.m. UK, 17 GMT, if I'm not mistaken. And I hope you'd attend the weekly webinars as well as workshops without fail as well. So thank you. Take care.